Lucasfilm will burn whatever goodwill it has left with this fan base. No, it's the complete opposite. It's the absolute complete opposite. We all knew it would happen. I saw it coming a mile away. After Star Wars Celebration 2023, I was like, it's going to be what usually happens, which is journalists come out and they all fawn over how amazing Kathleen Kennedy is. And here we go. And I just noticed, because this is THR, which is a rag, but here is exactly why. I mean, he's one of the kings of bad takes. So this might be one of the worst takes I've seen regarding Star Wars Celebration, because everybody agrees, I think, at this point, especially after this season. Supposedly, Kathleen Kennedy had more influence on season 3 of Mando, which is probably why the quality declined from season 1 and somewhat season 2, because 2, I think, had a lot of problems. So, of course, you get the awful... like, this art, this is the most absurd art I've ever seen. Like, you know what the more accurate art would be? Like, this makes it look like, oh, she's some kind of genius. She's wearing Jedi robes. What would make more sense is she is Thanos. She's got the Infinity Gauntlet. And... No. Actually, scratch that. It's the Grim Reaper meme, where there's, like, several doors. One of them says Willow. One of them says Star Wars. One of them... Both of those have trails of blood leading out of the door. And the next one is Indiana Jones. She's murdered 2 franchises. She's on the way to do another one. So here's Borys Kit's absolutely brain-dead take. Star Wars behind Lucasfilm's mostly risk-averse movie bets. First of all, that's immediately wrong. Okay, they're announcing a Rey movie, and we all saw that with each subsequent sequel trilogy movie, each one made less money than the previous one. Although I think Last Jedi made a bump over... Or actually, no, I think it did make less than TFA. But... by the time Rise of Skywalker came out, it did not have, it didn't make anywhere close to what, like, I think it was halved. Like, TFA made over $2 billion. I don't think TROS, I'm going to just say TROS didn't even come close to that. So, after that abysmal failure, they think it's a good idea to double down on what made them fail in the first place. Like, Rey is not a popular character. Like, I struggle to even call her a character, because what character does she have? She had zero characterization in that trilogy. She's just... I mean, there's a theory that she's a self-insert of Kathleen, maybe, but she's just a blank slate with nothing interesting going on that required, like, no training at all to be amazing at everything. Don't get me started on how much I don't like those movies. And you can disagree with me all you want. Like, I encourage you, if you disagree with my takes on the sequels, have at it in the comments. But that's how I feel. So, and then underneath that, after years of mulling options following the underperforming Solo spinoff, Kathleen Kennedy pulls the trigger on a slate of films, but leaves options open as to what title will hit the big screen in 2025. So, keep in mind, there is a long list of movies that have been announced by her and canceled. Like, it's just a graveyard at this point of canceled Star Wars movies. And almost all of them have had nightmare productions behind the scenes. The fact that she hasn't been kicked out by now is beyond me. It just doesn't make any sense. Oh, wait, I can listen to the article? No, I'd rather not. Ugh. Okay, this is a weird intro to this, but just hear me out. Ashlyn Ní Fearghail, an Irish transplant living in the Middle East. I don't know what this has to do with anything. This isn't the writer. This isn't Borys Kit. Was standing on the convention floor. I hate how these mainstream rags write. It's just so pretentious. At London Star Wars Celebration, dressed like one of her favorite characters, Rey. So we found the one. We found the one of, like, maybe 10 fans of her. I bet he had to actually search high and low for that. When she heard the news, Rey, when she heard the news, in another part of the Excel Center, Lucasfilm had just revealed that it was finally pulling the trigger on new Star Wars movies, and one of them was going to center on Rey, the quote-unquote character made famous by... That's a stretch. Quote-unquote famous by Daisy Ridley and Disney's sequel trilogy. I'm glad they call it the Disney... They don't call it the Star Wars sequel trilogy. To Ní Fearghail, who had been standing with another fan dressed as Rey comparing costume notes. It was a sign. We're excited to see more movies with her and more movies in general. Why? They completely butchered George's vision with those movies? I don't understand. Like, these are the fake fans that Disney has cultivated. They forced out the original fans. There's an old quote from Disney, from Kathy, saying that they don't want the old 50-year-old dudes that grew up with Star Wars. They want the new generation. But newsflash, the new generation doesn't give a crap about Star Wars. So good luck trying to capture that audience. To mangle a Star Wars analogy, these are the fans Lucasfilm was looking for. Yeah, that's true. They're trying to get their fan, but it's not working. At least it seeks to rebuild or to build a winning film slate. It's not going to happen with this. There hasn't been a movie since that Abomination, which bowed in December, blah, 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 to middling critical reception. That's putting it lightly. And a 1.077 billion, half of what TFA made. That film, along with Solo, which underperformed with 392 million, led Lucasfilm and Chief Kathleen Kennedy to take a pause. Okay, they're also ignoring a huge factor in this, and that's The Last Jedi. No, this person that wrote this is probably a fan of TLJ. Why else would he not mention it? He doesn't say the brand damage caused by TLJ and Solo. It was a compounding effect. So he just skips right over that. Then almost no one liked it. Luckily, a pivot... that remains to be seen. Luckily, a pivot to TV with Disney Plus's Mando reinvigorated the storied brand, first created by blah, blah, blah. Now there is a whole Mando-connected universe. The Book of Boba Fett, which is the upcoming Ahsoka, we'll see. That has made Iron Man and Lion King Helmer... Iron Man good, but not the Lion King remake. Helmer, Jon Favreau, and Rebels and Clone Wars animation creative Dave Filoni, the most important creative forces in Star Wars since Lucas himself. Yeah, I guess so. Filoni's personal story itself is noteworthy, that of a fan-turned-Lucas protege who became the top driver in animation is now bringing his animated characters into live action. To cap it all off, one of the 3 new movies will be directed by Filoni, his live-action feature debut, and will weave the threads of the Mando-oriented shows into one climactic event featuring centering on the escalating war between the IR and the fledgling NR. And there's the rub for the new trio of films. They're not going to do a timetable, which means they'll probably get canceled. I guarantee you there's like an over 50% chance these just get shelved. Because they're going to see the backlash. That movie's not going to make money. Like, if TROS made half as much as TFA, the next one's going to make even less than that. And they don't have the money to spend. They don't want to make only $500 million on this movie. To you and I, that's a lot. But to them, that's not a good return on ROI. Having learned its lesson the hard way after having dated movies before features were put in production. In 2019, the plan was for the next Star Wars film to bow last December with other entries, blah, blah, blah. And among other titles, Rogue Squadron, initially plotted as the greatest fighter pilot movie ever made, and then Top Gun came in and destroyed that, was a casualty with that project being removed. And that sounds cool if done right, like a Rogue Squadron movie with you get Wedge back. That could be cool. Release calendar after being unveiled at Disney Investor Day, blah, blah, blah. But there is still a December, blah, 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 which in theory could be one of these titles. A source tells THR that Lucasfilm would ideally like to return to theaters with the Rey-focused film. This is such a terrible idea. And follow that a year later with Filoni movie, although nothing is set. That movie's going to go straight to streaming, mark my words. The 3 new movies are still years away, exactly, so stop talking about them. From being made and released, James Mangold's feature, one set in the far past of the Star Wars universe, would ideally be tackled after the filmmaker makes his Bob Dylan biopic, blah, blah, blah. That one I'm very concerned about, too. Like, I don't think anybody should be telling us about the origin of the Jedi except for George Lucas. Like, he wanted to do that. Apparently, it's set 25,000 years before the OT, which is what the original plan was for the prequels. Like, there's old interviews with George where he was gonna go that far back with the prequels, and then he ended up not. So, why have somebody else besides George make up a bunch of BS about the origin of the Jedi when we know it's not George's? I don't care how bad George's vision is. I just want to see his vision. Like, even if it's terrible. The prequels, I have a soft spot for them. I know they have a lot of problems. But I would take more prequels 1,000,000 times over than what we got with the sequels. He just needs, I think, he's got to be the story guy and have other people do, like, all the production elements, because I just don't get it. Why they've maybe I don't know if he wants to be involved, but I feel like he should be. Where was I? Filoni's future depends on the machinery of the interlocking TV series and will factor in timelines of a 4th season of Mando. I wonder if we'll even see that. And a possible 2nd season of Ahsoka. The latter is not a given and would depend on the performance of the first, which debuts in August. Yeah, I'll probably do like a watch party for that. On Nielsen's latest, and Nielsen doesn't mean a whole lot, viewership chart, The Mando sits at number 6 with 889 million minutes, which counts the first two entries from season 3. The feature that is said to be the farthest along is the Ray Project, which is now on its second stage of scribes, with Peaky Blinders creator Stephen Knight, who's a good writer, taking over from Damon Lindelof. Like, that's a big step up. Stephen Knight is way better than Damon Lindelof. Peaky Blinders is better than anything that Damon Lindelof has ever made, and whoever Justin Britt Gibson is. Charmine Obaid-Chinoy is directing. So, again, they continue their trend of hiring wildly inexperienced people to handle a multi-million-dollar movie. She's like some crazy activist documentarian lady from Canada, and she's made like 2 documentaries. Doesn't have any experience with making a movie of this budget. I mean, just look at the Marvels trailer. That came out today. Well, as of this recording, yesterday. That's from a super inexperienced director, and it looks like crap. So they need to stop doing this. They do it because they know they can control them easily. They're just directors for hire. It's more of a producer's game, kind of like the MCU is now. The director really doesn't matter. You don't see their personal vision in there anywhere. Like, did you see Sam Raimi's touch in Doctor Strange 2 at all? No. Because he's absorbed within the Disney, Unicron, basically. Or Voltron. Charmino, the film is also a way to have Lucasfilm have it, this is stupid, have its bantha and eat it too. That doesn't even make any sense. Bantha's an animal, and that you're using it as an analogy for cake? Okay. You should have said something like some kind of food item from Star Wars. Like blue milk. That would have made more sense. Have its blue milk and drink it too. Borys Kit. You fraud. The Star Wars features have stuck to the overall story of the Skywalker family, which was to have ended with it ended with Return of the Jedi, but whatever. Lucasfilm has indicated it would move beyond that focus. But saying goodbye has been hard. Has it? Man, I swear these people live in another universe. And the Disney-era Lucasfilm has become a bit risk-averse. At least that's one complaint among Star Wars insiders. Mando, yes, but the Rey movie is not risk-averse at all. Or no, it is. It is, right? Wait, no, risk-averse means you don't want to take risks. Yeah, and Rey is a massive risk. Like, it's stupid. 2 of the 3 new movies mitigate much risk. A Mandalorian movie is about as safe as you can get. Agreed. Grogu merchandise already lines stores. And the character of Rey remains popular and would know it. No, she doesn't. Would connect to the Skywalker saga without officially connecting to the saga. That leaves Mangold's project a biblical epic about the origins of the Force. Yeah, I already talked about this. Pushes the boundaries of what I want to see George's. Its logline, telling the tale of the first Jedi to wield the Force and harness it as a liberating power in an era of chaos and oppression. Again, we'll see how good Indy 5 is before I give any faith to Mangold, even though he's made some great movies. Like, I just watched 3:10 to Yuma. It's fantastic. Logan's fantastic. Wolverine's pretty good. Haven't seen Walk the Line or Ford versus Ferrari, but I will eventually. Lucasfilm Chief Kennedy said the 3 movies seek to showcase the quote-unquote past, the Mangold film, present, the Filoni film, and future of the canon chronology, but the company has struggled to forge paths with projects from well-known... that's an understatement. Projects from Game of Thrones creators, blah, 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 are among those in the Death Star. Stop with these stupid puns. They're not even puns, but they're just dumb. While any features from Last Jedi Helmer are floating somewhere out in the unknown regions, let's hope they stay there. Never come back from the unknown regions, Ryan. Stay there forever. Not to mention that the last 2 spin-off movies, Rogue One and Solo, both saw director ousters. Yeah, there's a long list of the crap that's gone on behind the scenes. While a 3rd spin-off feature centering on Obi-Wan was scrapped and revived, I would have preferred a Obi-Wan movie made by James Mangold or Boba Fett. He would have done a much better job. Here's their stupid new timeline. I like the New Republic being in there because that's EU, but where's the stupid High Republic? I hate that that's a thing. This is what I would do if I own... I'm going to make a video eventually about what I would do if I was head of Lucasfilm. I would strike High Republic off of canon and Rise of the First Order. The New Jedi Order could still work if you do it correctly. Dawn of the Jedi, like that first one, it also could work. But some of the crap that J.J. Abrams put in needs to be gone. They don't have a George. George is your George, says one producer with knowledge of the Lucasfilm bureaucracy, referring to a singular creative figure guiding the franchise. Call him. You have his number. You should have been. You should have. It's so infuriating to think about that they threw out his plans for the ST. Like, it's so stupid that they said they don't have a George when George is alive and, like, you can consult him. I know that he probably doesn't want to be completely involved. But Filoni, yeah, he is the closest at this stage. This source uses the OT as an example. Even though Irvin Kershner helmed Empire and Richard Marquand directed Jedi, both of those still had a single creative force in Lucas. Yeah, exactly. So get Lucas as the creative force behind it and get other directors to work around that, like they did with the OT. I don't understand why you can't do that. For an equivalent today, look no further than blah, 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 Kevin Feige. Yeah, but look how that's going. That's gone down the crapper. On some level, it goes back to the fans and the strength of their faith. Star Wars Celebration has packed them in over 4 days. The attendance rising since last appearance in London, drawing attendees from France, Italy, Germany, South America. It was the largest international Star Wars celebration ever. Blah, 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 blah. They dress up, they build working droids. We all know this. One man jogged on a treadmill. What? Okay, now they're just hedging. There's problems in every Star Wars movie, but I've enjoyed them all. So they're just finding. He went and interviewed people and like that were sympathetic to the crap. And is there? I don't. There's like very few problems in the first two, especially in A New Hope and Empire. I don't know what she's talking about. Said Kiefer Jenkins, who had just finished getting a Star Wars tattoo. He had traveled from L.A. from his wife to attend the convention. Yeah, it's in L.A., of course. And was wearing a Mando costume. I'm glad they are seemingly taking more risks. I mean, a Rey movie is pretty risky at this point. Risks, good or bad, there is always something interesting that comes out of them. I'll be there day one when the... Yeah, he just interviewed shills, just clapping seals for Disney. But that benevolence would wane if at least one of these movies doesn't happen. If they don't make at least that Rey movie... Cautions to produce... Okay, this is the most ridiculous line so far. But that, if they don't make at least that Rey movie, cautions the producer who has worked with the company, Lucasfilm will burn whatever goodwill it has left with this fan base. No, it's the complete opposite. It's the absolute complete opposite. I swear, the mainstream, whether it, and not even just in entertainment, but in entertainment and politics, it's like these people, especially on the coasts, New York, L.A., or California, they live in upside down land. Like they live in the opposite world. They're so out of touch in their own bubble that they actually believe that fans will hate it if they don't make a Rey movie. Okay, there is way more fans out there of the OT and the PT than the ST. And there is way more people out there that don't like Rey than do. I mean, look at all the unsold Rey figures. I mean, that should tell you everything. And all the unsold Lego sets and all that. So, it's absurd to say that their goodwill will be gone. No. One of the things you can do to fix the goodwill, and it's going to piss off the quote-unquote new fans, the NU fans that, let's just say what they are. Most of them are fake fans. They jumped on the bandwagon because it was popular, and because Rian Johnson's some subversive moron that wanted to put his own stamp on Star Wars, and we all know how that happened. And so you got a bunch of fake fans who honestly probably wanted to just deconstruct Star Wars. And you're catering to them, and you think that's going to kill... No. If you cancel them right now and put George back into some kind of creative position, then you will actually get goodwill back. I really don't have much else to say. That was just one of the worst takes I've seen from Borys Kit. I don't know how he sounds. I haven't heard him talk, but THR, I should have used an archival site just so I don't give them a click, because they're just... All these rags are garbage. YouTube is going to destroy all these crap sites, and it can't happen soon enough. So what do you think about this absolutely brain dead take from Borys Kit? Let me know in the comments if you disagree with me about the ST and how I feel about the current dumpster fire leadership there and how it can be fixed. And I think it can be fixed. I know it's suffered a severe damage over the past 10 years, but I think it can still be fixed if they just get the right people in there. So, and I'm going to make more videos about that. So, because I'm passionate about it. So, until next time, thank you for watching, and I will see you then. Peace out.